Oh, there's me.
Hello.
Okay.
Hi, Dee.
Michelle, this is not green drinks. I sent you a note. Do you want to sell some bandanas?
Yeah.
Okay. How many do you think you can sell?
How many do you need to have sold?
Pardon?
How many do you got?
They're packaged. I have 300. They're,
Are
are
you
you
talking
going?
about for King's Day? No King's Day?
Yeah, we bought this is not green drinks. We bought a bunch of yellow bandanas with the No Kings logo on it. Wait a minute.
Nice. I'll be right back. I'm gonna run to get something.
Okay.
I'll be right back. But
Where am I?
all right.
Wait a minute. Let me get myself back. I mean, I am so fouled up here. Okay. Okay, we're being recorded. They
Oh.
look like that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I like it.
22 by 22. It's on all the corners. So I can give you as many as you think you can sell. I don't know if you're going to the protest on Thursday. I mean, don't feel pressured. It's we sold a bunch of them. We sold a bunch at the Monday meeting. The Monday meeting today was on Zoom,
Yes.
so I didn't sell any. But next Monday's meeting. So I mean, if you're going places, you think you can sell them, that would be cool.
Are these available to be picked up at on 16th Street at someone's house?
I could do that if you want. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that would work, right, babe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dee. Just a quick reminder, Green Drinks is part of an international group that was started by a bunch of Brits at a pub. So hence drink green and environmental stuff. So unlike some of us who are part of Indivisible, this is a nonpartisan educational gathering. And we invite everybody wishing to explore and share and discuss environmental issues. And we are fortunate we have some partners, the Sierra Club, Citizens Climate Lobby, Guess Who? Plastic Free Delaware, Delaware Native Plant Society, DEVA, which is the Delaware Electric Vehicle Association, which Mike is going to be busy providing electric for, and People for Offshore Wind Power, headed by the indomitable Peggy Schultz. So, Stacey, we welcome you here. Delighted to have you. You want to tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into this and kick off the program?
Sure. Thanks for having me. People love when we give presentations because people always want to know how to recycle the right way and what happens to everything. Does it really actually get recycled? All that stuff. So always happy to jump in somewhere. So I've been with DSWA coming up on 13 years. I was hired to really start in our in-house field trip programs. So we gutted like an old office building in Newcastle at the Delaware Recycling Center and filled it with interactives for kids to actually have fun when learning about trash and recycling. So we do programs that are free for schools to come and just learn all about what happens to their waste. So I was hired to kind of kickstart those programs. Fast forward, now we have 2 education centers. We have a new one in Dover as well. So we can kind of get that lower Kent and then Sussex County students up there as well. Also met my husband through this job. So that was great. He also works in waste. And then I have 2 small kids, 1.5 and 3.5. Life is crazy juggling both, but it's a lot of fun. And I have a team now, so I can kind of let them take a lot of the stuff while I manage these little rugrats at home here. But it is fun, really doing both. Pretty much grew up in Delaware. I've been here since I was 3. I'm in North Wilmington, but I do travel around the state with the job. I frequent Broadkill Beach. My husband's family has a house there, so we're there a lot of weekends in the summer. But yeah, so we just really aim to teach everyone a little about waste, whether it's trash or recycling. So I never thought I'd be talking about this subject, but my degrees were all environmental science. And I did a little programming with Delaware Nature Society. I actually did a lot of a season with native plant removal with state parks, and then came upon this job, and that really has been my career. So here we are. So if anything else, go ahead. No. If anything else, I'll get started. I'm going to share my screen so you can look at some other things rather than just me. Let me bring up my presentation here. All right. There we go. I haven't done this in a long time. So, all right. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet. It's got my presentation on it.
There we go.
Can you see it? Good.
Yeah. Do you want us to
All right.
do full screen or whatever?
Good.
Can everyone see my little window? Or is that just me? Everybody see the full screen? Thumbs up.
Full screen and your little window, and now, oh, there's me.
Yeah, I don't
Okay,
know.
good.
That's weird. I don't know why, Stacey, it's doing that. Seems like Zoom just changed a whole bunch of things.
I have not been in Zoom in a very long time, but all right. Do I just keep going? Can you see my
I guess
presentation?
so, yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go through a little bit. So, try and be quick through some of the beginning parts. And then I know everyone wants to get into really kind of what goes in your recycling bin and why. But here's a little bit about DSWA, so Delaware Solid Waste Authority, if you are not aware. So we are a quasi-state agency. So we are not funded by tax dollars. A lot of people think we are. We are a private entity that was created by the state of Delaware with the sole task of managing waste for Delaware. So we have a board of directors that are appointed by the governor. They are big decision makers, but all of our funding, all of our what makes us work actually comes from tipping fees at the landfill. So when your private haulers, your municipalities, residents come to the landfill or a transfer station, they pay, right, to drop off trash. That's what goes back into making operational. We don't do the recycling ourselves. So whether that's smaller things like electronics or hazardous waste, or your single stream recycling, bottles, cans, paper, cardboard, that is done by contract companies. So even the recycling center itself, even though it's on our property at the Delaware Recycling Center, the recycling process and the marketing and the selling of the material is actually all done by Republic Services, who is contracted by us. We have a long-term contract with them. So they're the ones actually doing the processing of that stuff. There's another big contractor on our site, Revolution Recovery. They do a bunch of construction and demolition debris recycling. So our recycling hub for Delaware is really up here in Newcastle with those two big partners on site. What we don't do, a lot of people kind of get confused. We don't do any regulations. We don't issue permits. We don't issue fines. That kind of regulatory stuff is done by DNREC. We are solely here to manage the waste. So we don't also pick up any trash or recycling. That's all done by private companies, municipalities, and that kind of thing, or residents on their own. And then again, like I said, we don't operate the actual recycling center. So we do contract a lot of this work out, but our facilities are the ones where the trash will end up in the state of Delaware. The trash doesn't leave. The recycling has that stopover, but the trash doesn't leave. It stays at our sites. So our sites include things like drop-off centers and collection stations. You may have visited one of these before. You may know, if you're a longtime resident, we used to have 175 drop-off centers in the state of Delaware. They were behind shopping centers, malls, all sorts of stuff, state parks, that you could drop your single stream recycling off, sometimes batteries, sometimes motor oil. But once we started with single stream recycling, we found that those weren't used enough. And then the opposite, they were misused. So a lot of the time, people would drive in the middle of the night and drop off their junk and then drive away. So we found both scenarios caused us to really kind of refine that. And now those are at our actual facilities, so we can manage those a little bit better. So if you had one you used and you kind of miss it, it's probably because it wasn't used or it was unfortunately improperly used. But with a lot of the single stream now, those bins kind of became obsolete, but they are still around if you need that extra site. A collection station is something I found more downstate, but that is like a pay as you throw type of waste disposal. Before a lot of the construction boom, especially in Sussex County, it was few far between that people actually contracted for trash disposal. So the collection states act as an easy way to get rid of trash. If you didn't make a lot, you didn't want to pay a contractor to come and get your waste. They're still there. There's the farthest one north is in Cheswold, and then they're just done now by credit card. It used to be like a punch system. But now you can still pay. It's still like $1 a bag. And you can easily get that stuff, put into a dumpster, and then we haul it to the transfer station or landfill. So you may recognize some of those. Our bigger sites, our transfer stations, there's 3 of those in the state of Delaware. We have Townsend, we have Milford, and those are pretty much halfway points for your trash and recycling, so that those waste hauling companies aren't traveling long distances from neighborhoods to each landfill. So if you see it, it's a big red barn. It's supposed to look like that to kind of blend into the surroundings, so people don't know that it's filled with trash. But at the end of every day, all of that trash or recycling is actually either sent to the recycling center or sent to a landfill. So again, those are only halfway point, cut down on those routes for the waste haulers. Again, they do take extra stuff like white goods, tires, yard waste. So they do act as a center for residents too, to drop off some extra stuff. But there is a fee with a lot of that. And most of these sites do include that free single stream recycling area with them as well. And then you have our landfills. There's 3 of these in the state of Delaware as well. There's one in Wilmington, in Felton, and then Georgetown. And this is how Delaware manages waste. So far, our landfills, they are a great method for trash disposal. And a lot of people, this is what we really like to teach kids too, is landfills, you hear so much, they're bad for the environment, they pollute the environment, but it's just not the case. So we're governed by state, we're governed by federal regulations to make sure that doesn't happen. We have our gas systems in place. We have our leachate collection stations, which are collecting the gas and the liquid that could potentially leach out from a landfill, but it doesn't, because we have these management systems. And again, we have systems in place that make sure they're monitoring that around the landfill. Now, there is a downside to landfills, is that they take up so much space and they are finite. But when it comes to being polluters, it's just not true. And we have all 3 of our landfills actually have green energy projects, which all 3 send energy to the grid, and we power homes and businesses from the trash that's in the landfill. That being said, we don't want our landfills being filled with trash unnecessarily. We promote recycling of everything from your single stream to things like tires and yard waste. So we don't just want to keep filling up these landfills. We need to manage them correctly and help residents learn how to do that as well. So landfills should really only be for trash. And some things today just don't have a recyclability. Maybe they're really expensive to do that. There's no one out there that's going to take a certain type of material. And that's where your landfills come in. So then your recycling center, this is the area that is in Newcastle. So the Delaware Recycling Center, if you're up this way, you may have been there before to take advantage of our electronics collection program, our hazardous waste, our document shredding. But again, this is that hub for recycling in Delaware. All of the recycling that's generated eventually comes up here. We use transfer trailers, so long tractor trailers, that bring up all of that single stream from those two transfer stations that we have in Kent and Sussex County. And then this is where all of this stuff gets processed. It gets sent through machines like conveyor belts and magnets and AI robotic arms that are really helping to collect everything that is worth recycling and then weeding out anything that was mistakenly put into the recycling bin that didn't belong. So that place there is almost cranking out 24/7 because we get about 400 tons of recycling a day, which is great. It does have some trash. Our residue rate runs about 16 to 18%, which means of what comes to that recycling center, about 16 to 18% is actually trash. And should have went to the landfill. It might include some dirty recycling as well, your dirty pizza boxes and that kind of thing. That does go to the landfill as well. But we actually have a decent residue rate for a voluntary program here in Delaware. So we're really proud of our program. It can always be better. Our recycling rate definitely needs a big kick up. But for a voluntary program, we actually do well for our state here. So here's your recycling guidelines. Now, this actually does look different. We updated this. If you've seen this before, I'm sure many of you have. This was our pull out. This is what we live by in helping people recycle the right way. We've changed this, and the changes just came in look. Nothing substantial has changed in terms of what you can put in your recycling bin. Nothing's been removed from the list. But it just needed kind of a redo. Like a refresh on there. We kind of expanded on the not accepted in the cart because there was a lot of other things people had questions about. So I can show you a picture of that at the end, but that is on our website. Dee and Jill, I can send you a copy of that. You can, send around too. If anyone ever wants a hard copy of this, I'm welcome to, send you one, or if you're up this way or I have staff in Dover, I can always get you one too. But if you haven't seen, if you can't make the tour or you want to watch it anyway, it's a good watch. Our recycling center video is a virtual tour of the inside of this material recovery facility. So it's our recycling center. So it's a good watch. It goes through all of those steps. And it shows you from beginning to end what happens to these recyclables. So we show this to all the kids that come in because we can't take them inside the building. So this is a really good watch. There was one on the previous page too about landfills. It's pretty much a virtual tour of our landfills in Delaware. So both good. We've really expanded how many videos we do because people have so many questions. So on our education page, we have a whole slot of videos. But these two specifically, you should really take a look at because it kind of helps you understand both of those.
Hey, Stacey, sorry, before you go on, just try this. If you can hover your mouse over the, do you see the little screen there? Yeah, just hover your mouse and see, is there like a hide button or maybe right? I currently can't do it. I don't know if you can.
Wait a second. That one?
Ah, yes.
Was that up for everybody? I thought that was just me.
No, it was for everybody. It was driving me crazy, but
Why did you tell me earlier?
It's a new Zoom thing, so thank you. That's awesome.
Oh, I thought that was just my little get back to the screen button. Anyway, thank you. So let me go quick. This is what everybody wants to know, is the little tidbits about what can go in your recycling bin. And then I know there'll be plenty of questions at the end too. So I'm going to start with paper. So we want paper in your recycling bin. We really want it to be credit card, postcard size or bigger. Things that are really small, they're just going to get lost in those machines. Those machines are moving really quick, and anything small is just going to fall right through. So we do really have a size requirement on paper that makes it worth it to recycling to actually get it baled with all the paper. So credit card size or bigger, make sure it's clean. You can leave staples in it. And then the little plastic film on things like envelopes or even tape, that's fine to leave on that paper. We just ask that there's no paper cup, no receipt paper, anything coated, and no shredded paper. I'm sure everyone's heard before, no shredded paper. It makes a mess, number one, in the trucks. It makes a mess in the recycling center. And paper is sorted by being flat and two-dimensional. We have these rotating disc machines that are really taking anything that is flat. And when you shred paper, you change the shape of the paper, and it's not sorted efficiently anyway. So paper has to be that flat, two-dimensional, has to have that surface area to be captured by those machines. So no shredded paper, no paper cups. Those are the ones we get asked a lot. If you do have shredded paper, you want to shred your paper. Our collection events that include shredding, that company that we contract takes your shredded paper and takes it right to a paper mill. So if you use that, you will have your paper shredded and recycled. So if you didn't know that, it actually does get taken right to a paper mill. Plastic containers. This is probably the most difficult because there's so much plastic out there. You have plastic films, you have containers, you have 7 different types of plastic out there. We stopped really going by put number 1, 2, and whichever in your recycling bin. It's hard to find that little triangle and the number, and it actually doesn't really add up to the recycling industry. That plastic triangle with the number is actually a plastic industry marking before it was a recycling industry marking. So that's going to tell you what type of plastic it is. It's not going to tell you if it's allowed in the recycling bin. So it's really just going to say on your plastic bag, you're going to have a triangle. But that doesn't mean it goes in the recycling bin. So like getting your info from us as what goes in there and not looking for that number or the triangle is really the way to go. So we kind of got rid of using that because it was confusing and hard to find. So we really go by the plastic container rule. So it has to be something that is a household container. It's 3-dimensional, empty, clean, put the lid back on if you can secure it, and put it in the recycling bin. Years ago, this didn't include butter containers and that kind of thing, but all the different containers you see here are allowed in the recycling bin. Again, just make sure they're empty and clean. Some, of course, there's always exceptions. Things like flower pots, chemical, motor oil containers are not allowed in the recycling bin. But just because of that residue that can be on there, it could really cause things to be contaminated at the recycling center. And things can be really dangerous if it gets really hot at the recycling center. We've had fires before. So there is a reason, unfortunately, some containers aren't allowed in. But if you stick with that household container rule, all this stuff is accepted in your bin. And then, of course, no soft plastics. The conveyor belts get wrapped with this stuff so easily. People go in there, some of the workers go in and literally cut out plastic bags and wrappers multiple times a day because they impede the machines actually working correctly. So this stuff is really a problem. And then anything flat that is even a hard plastic, like a lid or a fork or spoon, that stuff is not allowed. It doesn't fit that container rule. And it's also a mixed plastic. So it's already been recycled probably already. It's like a mixed amount of plastic in there. But this one is always the most questions with the plastics. But again, plastic container, make sure it's clean. It's really what you want to go by. Glass and metal, it's pretty standard. We just want bottles and jars. Again, they should be clean. You can leave the labels on. You don't have to worry about picking that stuff off. We just ask that you don't include things like drinking glasses, window glass, or scrap metal or broken glass. Scrap metal, yeah, it does have a value, but again, these machines are designed for certain things that you're going to have a big variety and a big amount of aluminum cans and soup cans to aluminum soda cans. That's the type of material they're going to get enough of to actually sell to a company that's going to recycle it. Scrap metal, a lot of people like to put in things like frying pans or toasters because they include some metal. Those can be taken to another facility if you really want to have those recycled, just not in the recycling center. And then cartons, paperboard, and cardboard. This is all of your, thicker fiber material. So pizza boxes is the number one question we get. What do I do with my pizza box? It depends on your pizza box. So if you're done with your pizza and the bottom of your box has grease and cheese and sauce, that little wax paper didn't do anything to help, then it does need to go in the trash. If you can tear it in half, put the top in the recycling bin if it's clean, and trash the bottom. We really don't want things that are dirty. It really makes the stuff, the value of material go down, especially with your paper and cardboard, because there's no extracting that grease out of that material. Cartons is what a lot of people are surprised to know. We are in Delaware allowed to put our cartons in our recycling bin. So they really are, they used to be separated, but now they are sent with the cardboard. And that one, I usually have to verify with Republic Services every so often because it is such an outlier, but they have said it's okay to put them in your bin. And anything else, breaking down large boxes, cardboard's the only thing we want you to break down. Don't smash your cans. Don't step on your milk jugs. Because again, remember, you're altering the shape of that material. And these machines are sorting based on the size of shape of this material. So don't alter anything except you can break down your cardboard. And then my last one on here, actually, this is an update. If you do know, frozen food boxes, I have it on here to give it a tear test. But actually, this is one that's recently changed. You can put frozen food boxes in your recycling bin. So that one may be different from what you've heard in the past, but it is on our new guideline sheet. Those are allowed in your recycling bin. So remember that.
Maybe explain the tear test.
So that the tear test used to be like if you couldn't tear it, then there was like an extra coating on that, maybe like what was it? Like a lean cuisine or something, right? It had an extra plastic coating on it. So we always used to say, if you can't tear it, it goes in the trash because of that plastic coating. But that's actually since been thrown out. So don't even worry about that. So I should fix that one. That you'll see on the new guideline sheet, frozen food boxes are fine to put in your recycling bin, regardless of that tear test. I think a lot of companies have moved towards, like I get a lot of like that Kodiak brand. They've moved towards that type of box where there is no coating. It's just a cardboard material. So frozen food boxes are actually okay in there. Don't mind this. I haven't updated this since we redid our things, but frozen food boxes are fine. But these are the most common things we get in the recycling that should not be there. A lot of food waste. Weirdly, we get a lot of diapers in the recycling center. A lot of food. A lot of tanglers, so wires and hoses and all sorts of things that wrap those machines, and still a lot of bags. But lots of stuff we find in there that really should not belong. Unfortunately, people try really hard, but you're also going to always have people that really don't care. So they're just going to put whatever they want, wherever they want, as quick as possible. And that's where we still end up with a lot of this kind of junk.
Stacey, shall we hold questions for the end? People are putting stuff in the chat, and we'll just hang on to them till the end.
Yep, almost done. Yep, hold questions because I don't want to hit anything right now. I'm going to X out of here. But yeah, hold questions. I'll go back to them at the end. So here's some things that do not go in your recycling bin, but there are programs for. So batteries, styrofoam, and electronics are things that you can actually bring to the recycling center for free to actually get them recycled. So we contract with different companies for each. They come and get that stuff, and they drive it to a recycler or to their own facility to process it and then send it to a recycler. Yard waste, we do compost at the landfill, but there is a fee. And then our plastic bags, there still are those bag take back bins at various stores that you should utilize if you are still getting plastic bags. Of course, in Delaware, we don't see as many of them, but they do, they still surface and they're still floating around. So if you do have those. This was something from maybe like 2 years ago. Delaware was actually rated the state with the highest access to recycling for all households. So 97% of the Delaware residents have access to recycling. And then our participation rate is not terrible. It could be better, obviously. But we pride ourselves at DSWA for how many opportunities we give everyone to actually recycle things. Aside from your single stream bin, the frequency that people can come to a hazardous waste event to drop off their paints and chemicals or their electronics. We have 4 centers that you can go to 6 days a week to drop off your electronics, which is unheard of really in any state. A lot of states, even neighboring states like Pennsylvania, there's like maybe a day or two during the year where people can bring their hazardous waste. We have events for people to bring that stuff every week in Delaware. So our recycling outside the bin is kind of unheard of. So we're proud of our recycling programs that we offer. And those big ones, again, electronics, hazardous waste, document shredding, that is all made possible because of those user fees at the landfill. It goes back into making those programs free. That's me. And let me get out of here.
Wow, that's a lot of information.
So it's a lot of information. But I know most of the stuff is questions. So I get through that stuff pretty quickly so that we can get some questions here. Hold on.
All right, I'm reading through the questions here. You want to look at them with me? Where do you sign up for a DSW outing? Isn't that what we just put on the end there?
I posted it again. So
the Murph tour. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay, there's D, Beyond Plastic Conference.
It's just something about me just not knowing what's happening.
No, keep going. The questions come up after that.
Oh, I can't see the right side. No, not
keep
these.
going.
Okay. All right. The acceptance of packaging, we recommend watch videos. There we go. Anyone can celebrate, practice, blah, blah, blah. You want to just jump in if you're reading faster than I'm. Natalie asks, what about pasta and tissue boxes with plastic windows?
Those are fine. Put them in. Yep. Those are fine. Yep. Oh, I see where you are. Okay.
What about the lids that are secured but pop off like yogurt in the photo example?
It's probably best. Let me see here. Those. That's okay. Just put it on again. If it's oh my gosh, I gotta stop. Put the lids on. If you secure it on, if it pops off, it pops off. It's not like the container's not going to be recycled if the lid's not on there. And those will get weeded out. Just as a habit, secure the lid, put it in your recycling bin. Again, if anything does come off and it's not recyclable, it'll end up with the residue where you would have put it anyway in your trash. So that's fine. Anything you can secure a lid to, put it on, put it in your bin. Pasta, batteries. So Yep. So your batteries, again, the alkali batteries, those household batteries, those bins at the recycling center. Let's say you live up this way. You go to the recycling center. There's 2 bins, yellow bins for your batteries. One is alkaline batteries. And then there's another bin for something like a rechargeable battery, whether it's like a tool battery or something, you can put that in there. Anything bigger than that, like your car battery, that's going to go to a hazardous waste event. So pretty much if you could fit your battery into one of these containers, you can put it in there. We have techs that actually go through and will secure those batteries and that before they go to Call to Recycle, who is our battery recycler. It's always good to actually tape your batteries before you put them in the bin if you can. But yeah, anything bigger than that or your car battery or thing will go to the hazardous waste, but it's free to go drop your batteries off. The next one kind of goes with that. Styrofoam right next to the battery bins. Styrofoam is either in Newcastle, it's in Newark, it's at the Milford transfer station, or it's at the Georgetown landfill / recycling center. So those are the places that you can bring styrofoam. Please make sure it's clean. We track like a lot of bugs if people put dirty stuff in the styrofoam. But you drive right up, take your styrofoam. There's a big bag. You drop it in there and you leave. It actually gets taken for free from Dart Container, who is the producer of a lot of the stuff. So they will take it back. And we are lucky we are right in their radius that they will collect it up in Newcastle. So all of our styrofoam actually comes up to Newcastle. And then reps from Dart will come and take that stuff back. And then they densify it into these bricks of material. And then they send it to companies that make things like crown molding, pencils, rulers, all sorts of stuff. It's not going to be made into styrofoam again, because it's a very expensive process to do that, but they can do a different process by densifying it first. But your styrofoam is recycled if you make that. We say save it up and make a trip, every quarter or something like that. You don't have to, bring a little bag full, save it up and, bring it once or twice a year.
I just have to jump in. My neighbors, my neighbors, there are a couple of us and going to DSWA, bring your stuff over. So it's a good neighborly thing.
Yeah.
Nick has his hand up when you get to him.
And also it's only white styrofoam, not black, which has now been outlawed, at least for restaurants. But also what I do with like peanuts and bubble wrap that I get, even if, you get it, even if you don't want it, I take it to my local mail store. And they reuse it again, so it gets a second life. So that's something you can do with your peanuts too.
Mm-hmm. And there's so many programs like that people don't even know of. Like Staples, they have a wide variety of things that they actually accept. Like we started bringing them broken crayons because they partner with a company that will take the crayons and recycle them. They have a long list of things that they take. So it might be out there. It might include that extra step, right? Driving it somewhere, but there are things out there that you can, take it to. Let me see. Plastic bags can go to eco-plastics. Yep, they take a lot of that stuff. Sometimes they're hit or miss. Sometimes they say they're not taking stuff. Other times they will take stuff. So check before you bring stuff to eco-plastics. White goods, yes, I'm going to answer that. Yeah. So white goods are things that have Freon inside. So refrigerator, freezer, air conditioner. Now with those, I've been seeing a lot, waste haulers, like I have Evergreen. So they said they will take that stuff from you, but you have to take the Freon out. And they ask you that it's like certified before they actually take it from your curb. You do not have to do that if you bring it to the landfill. We contract a service that will remove the Freon from those white goods at the landfill. So before you take it to the landfill, you do not have to remove that Freon before you do that. Yogurt containers, like those, yep, those are all good. What about milk or juice boxes with the plastic spout? That's fine. You leave that little spout on there. That's okay. Like the carton and that kind of thing. Yep. Don't crush them. Number 6, yogurt cups. Those are okay. They do bail some material that is a mixed plastic. That's probably going to be like your 6, like 4 or 5, that are your not high value plastic. So your highest value plastic is going to be your number 1 and number 2. So it's water bottles, clear bottles, soda bottles are number 1s. And then milk containers, laundry detergent are a lot of times number 2. And then kind of everything else. So if it's a plastic container and it's not a 1 or a 2, they're actually going to be probably baled together. Whereas the 1 and the 2s are actually separate, just different markets for the different types of plastic. Alkaline batteries go to the trash. Nope. So if you bring it to one of our collection bins, all of our batteries go to a company called Culture Recycle, where they melt them down. They make tools, they make golf clubs, they make more batteries, parts, all that kind of stuff. So if you put them in our bin, they are recycled. Flattening cans. Nope. Remember, don't alter anything except your cardboard. Eco-plastic lids.
Off the lids on a steel can, they're sharp lids.
Those okay. Yep. Put it, if you can, put it inside the can. Otherwise, you can put it in your recycling bin too. Yep. The steel metal cans lids are okay.
And the metal caps on some wine bottles, do you cap the bottle or just throw the cap separately away?
I would throw that cap actually in the trash. That one by itself is a little bit small. And all those kind of little details that new, on the old one too, we had it, but we try and cover those little details on our pamphlets, like plastic containers, it says leave the caps on, metal and glass, remove the cap and recycle like in your bin. So we try to hit those little parts on that, on our info, but those like a pasta sauce lid, that's a good size. You can put that in your recycling bin separately, but just glass and metal are different commodities. So put them in separate.
Yeah, Stacey, you want to call on these folks with their hands up? Nick has his hand up, and John Irwin.
Sure, go ahead.
Nick, you've had your hand up for a while.
Okay. Well, I have a sort of a personal concern. I live in an apartment building. I was wondering if you do any kind of education of apartment dwellers, because we do recycle through Republic. But if you would ever see what's around the Republic bin, I don't think, I think a lot of it's ending up in the trash. People, I know you're not supposed to, I did the MRF tour, and I know you're not supposed to leave recyclables in a plastic bag. Right. It should be just thrown and stuff like that isn't happening. And Republic's bin in our building is way too small. So I don't know if you work with, this building is a BPG building, but they're working with some of the apartment companies because I think a lot of the recycling is not getting done here.
So right now I know that, so our counterpart at DenRec, his name is Greg, he is doing a big push for apartment complexes. Like he is making sure these complexes actually have access to recycling, because a lot of multifamily complexes do not actually have recycling bins. So I know DenRec, who does the enforcement of the haulers, it has a big push currently I was just talking to him about 2 weeks ago, has a big push for that. If there is any way that we can come and do, I don't know if you have like meetings for, the residents in the buildings, like we are more than happy to come out and actually do this for the residents. When it comes to actually policing haulers or making sure they're abiding, that would be DenRec, who I could always bring him in with me. But in terms of that, again, all our presentations and materials are free. So if that is anything that you would need, we're more than happy to do that. I don't know if, again, you have like meetings or anything like that for residents.
Yeah, we have a monthly meeting, sort of a social thing. That might be.
I mean, that works too. Hey, I've been invited to breakfast before and done a sit down. So that is perfectly something we would do if you think it would kind of catch some residents and help them. Again, if there's something on the other end, I can loop in Greg from DNRAC, who again does that policing for the actual bins and haulers and that kind of thing. So we could kind of double team too. Yeah.
That's cool.
Okay.
John, you want to ask your question?
Sorry, if I could add to that, Stacey. My understanding
sorry.
too is, sorry, Jill.
Sorry.
It's not the residents of multifamily housing complexes. It's not their fault. It's the owners. Assuming that they're not condos. But I've talked to some of the owners of those kinds of properties before, and they just have problems with recycling being, getting contaminated, or people coming by and putting trash in their bins from outside and that sort of thing. So it's not as easy a situation as, I don't know. I always think every situation has an easy solution, but that's one that just doesn't. But I think we should definitely keep pushing and trying, but it's a difficult situation.
Yeah, we run into the same thing for schools too. It's
Exactly.
a very complex situation. Like,
Exactly.
Getting the custodial staff on board is very difficult when it comes to schools.
Yeah, their labor agreements actually don't allow them to do the recycling sometimes.
People think I'm crazy when I say that. And I'm like, that's what I've been told. They will not do it because it's not listed in their
contract. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm glad you said that. It makes me feel better.
No, we found that out too in doing waste audits in schools, and it just seems crazy to me, but it's something that needs to change. So we do appreciate everybody helping us push for that.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jill.
Oh, I'm still gunning for John Irwin to ask this question.
Okay.
And I want to know why your balloons are behind you on your door frame.
Well, birthdays happen. We just keep celebrating forever until all the air leaks out, right? So I was wondering about, takeout. So one of the things is there are places that used to be styrofoam, and then they changed this year to, it's like a white, same kind of shape container, but it's like a different material. It's like, I don't know if you can see what that looks like.
Is it compostable, John?
I don't think so. It says it's like, ML93. It's a type 5. And the rest of these things are just like,
I think
some kind of polystyrene.
It's a hard plastic, thin, in the shape of what used to be the styrofoam things. And I assume they're trying to comply with the new rules, but I just wanted to make sure it really is legit. And other places have the black plastic bottom and a clear top.
Right.
Any thoughts on those things?
The one you're talking about, it doesn't sound like something that would go in your recycling bin, to be honest. If I think I know what you mean.
If it's a number 5.
If it has, but I think I know what you mean, and I'm not sure if it's like an actual plastic material. I'd have to see it, or to see what it's made out of. Now the black ones, the black with the clear lid, that's okay to put in your recycling bin. You could put those in there. But the other one I'd have to see, because I know. Let's see, last night I had ones that were actually clear plastic. So I put that in my recycling bin. But I know I've gotten ones like, you kind of mentioned like compostable, but it almost seems like that kind of material, which would not go in your recycling bin. But the black, that kind of takeout container I would put in there. The other one, I would say, at least for now, I would say probably put it in your trash.
It's like, a buffet, like a Grandy's buffet, Do you know that place? It's it's over on Naaman's and
not exactly, but yeah,
I know what you mean.
Yeah, and so
I'll go scout it out.
Yeah, we go there, like to go there, and they switched. I was happy to see them switch, and I assume they must think they're complying, or else it's.
Well, they are complying if they got rid of styrofoam. Unfortunately, John, we have to choose our battles.
Right.
Yeah, so it's maybe turned into trash and not styrofoam.
Yeah, although if it is number 5, it can probably at least go to ecoplastics,
Yeah.
if not
Right. Right. I think just,
curbside.
yeah.
It's just
Okay, well,
styrofoam is
thanks.
like the worst of the worst, which is why we advocated against that.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Let me grab Fred, let me grab your question in a second. Let me see what else we got over here.
He's asking, I've been taking batteries and electronics to Staples. Do they coordinate with DSW?
No, we don't. Nope. All of our batteries go to a company called Call to Recycle, which we sort, separate, and then we send our batteries there. We've been working with them for quite a few years. For plastic containers, should we clean? Should we wash out all food residue fully? And the answer is really yes. If you cannot do that, the usual example is the peanut butter jar. If you really don't want to clean out your peanut butter jar, then it does go in the trash. Now, if you have your peanut butter jar, you fill it with some dish detergent, leave it overnight. It actually is pretty easy to clean the next day. But the stuff really should be clean before it goes in the recycling center, go in the recycling bin. Now, if you have like droplets of water on something, you can still put it in the recycling bin. We don't want something soaking wet where you dump water in your recycling bin when you put it in there. But if something has a few droplets of liquid or residue, or if you're out somewhere and your soda bottle still has a little bit of content inside, like around the side, you're okay to put it in your recycling. It's not going to mess up the entire truckload. It's just really putting emphasis on cleaning this stuff because Republic wants to have the cleanest material because they're the ones trying to find buyers for this material. And buyers are not going to buy it if they're going to have a whole lot of dirty stuff. So that clean, dry, that is really what we want. So if you don't want to use the water to clean something out, it then does belong in the trash. It really makes a difference in the quality of the recycling, which then we're trying to get to a recycler. But a lot of companies don't want the stuff if it's dirty or mixed with trash. TerraCycle, yeah, it's TerraCycle. We do a lot of our plastic film at the education building because we have a lot of schools having lunch. So we collect up all of our stuff, and we do use TerraCycle, which is a bin you can actually purchase, and then it goes towards like mailing it back to them. But it is something you do have to pay for. Let's see. Fred, is your question on the where does it end up? I'm coming.
I'm actually up to 5 questions at this point now I'm thinking about. So yeah, one headline question is, where does it actually end up? So you've got 3 metrics, one of which you didn't mention. So the level of how you can get in, 97% in Delaware. Level of participation, good number. How much actually gets landfilled, burnt, whatever, versus actually recycled? That would be a wonderful metric and is a big mystery. I actually talked with your manager. You toured me back during COVID. I got a one-on-one tour of the plant. It was great. Thank you. And I got the numbers from him, and I was busy, so I didn't chase down with Reliance or whoever they are where it actually went. It would be good cradle to grave to know where the grave actually is, because I would like to see it turn up in park benches, chipped up, melted down, turned into a park bench. I know you can't answer the question, but I think that is an important question to answer. Also, on the schools question, we thought we'd fix it. We didn't. Our kids want to fix it. The stuff we've left behind. There's a big long list. So maybe the janitors don't want to sort things, but the kids in the schools do. And so a really important issue around recycling. Gail and I were at Mount Cuba yesterday, and they had some treats in their conservatory, and they had paper plates that we had like fruit and stuff on and cookies, and they had plastic spoons, and then over there they had recyclable and trash. And I pushed them like, what is what? There is so much indeterminacy about how to handle anything. And so getting clarity into the system of what goes where. And then thirdly, of course, compost, which we're not bothering with, but we should. A pitch. April 11th, 9:30 to noon. Christina Watershed. There are 20 sites having cleanups. Please join. If you go to Christina Watershed or whatever it is, sign up. There are 141 have signed up already. We normally have about 600 people. Our park has signups, but we're unimportant. And my final question, and I'll let you respond after this. And most of it's like, yeah, right. Shredded paper. So we live in a world that is dependent on feeling insecure. And so I've got literally 3 shredders downstairs. And I went to Iron Mountain. I went to several of those folks. They say they have to pay to have shredded paper taken away. Now, I'm originally a chemical engineer. I know that if you want to make paper, first thing you want to do is shred it so that it is easy to pulp. And so the fact that I have to put it into a bag and put it in the trash and then it goes to Pigeon Point really, honestly, pisses me off. You guys should figure out a way to let us get that stuff into recycling. Now I'll shut up.
Okay, I don't remember all your questions, but
they're all in the
but I don't know about Iron Mountain or anything like that, but I do know the companies we partner with that accept the shredded paper. If it's taken to our events, they do get it recycled. So if you utilize those for shredding, that does go to a recycler.
But
so
I think what you're saying is, I'm sorry, I think what you're saying is if we go to a shredding event and feed them the paper and they shred, but we shred at home. There should be a way for shredded paper to be accepted into the system somewhere. And I'd be happy to come
add it to the list.
I have. You just heard it. It's on the chat.
Listen, the programs aren't, going to reach every single thing at the moment. There's always work to do. Yeah. But so does it get recycled? So anything that goes into your recycling bin that is on that accepted list does go to a recycler. So Republic is the one that is finding buyers for this stuff. And there's companies that are buying this material from Republic to then utilize it. So aluminum cans will go to right back into the same thing. So I'm an aluminum buyer, aluminum can. It used to be Anheuser-Busch. I think it's changed since then. But that kind of company is going to buy this material and utilize it for more cans. The plastic, most of that stuff you're talking about, your number 1, number 2, it's going to go back into making that same thing again. There could be some extras, like we used to have a Mohawk carpet company come and buy that material from Republic. But again, anything that is going your recycling bin is going to a recycler. It is actually done more so through like brokerage companies. So we are not given access to that material. But it is not going into a landfill. So if it's not supposed to be at the recycling center, it's going to a landfill. Again, we don't burn any trash in Delaware, so it's not going to be burned, but it is, if it's not supposed to be there, then it is going to the landfill. But anything on that recycled list is baled. If it's glass, then it's crushed. and going to a subsequent buyer from there. Glass is one I didn't touch on, but that one for sure. It goes to a company called Cap Glass. They're in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
They clean up the material, the cullet material. Some of it is sold for road paving projects. They mix it with their asphalt. It's not really going to be mixed in or not really going to be recycled into more bottles and jars. Again, it's a very expensive process. But a lot of road filler material has recycled glass in it. Or Republic will actually use it for landfill cover as well, like the smaller pieces of glass. So this stuff is sent to a recycler. Again, if it comes to the recycling center, if it's supposed to come to the recycling center, it will go there. Let me see. I know I'm kind of running short on time here.
Let me just say, first of all, thank you for what you're doing. I know my questions sounded kind of challenging, not hostile. It's a cause. And the first thing to do is find something else, not a container that creates trash. That's on us. But we live in a world that is designed to generate a whole bunch of stuff. And to the extent that we can find a way to reduce, reuse, recycle, and I just hope and pray that the recycle goes somewhere other than some third world dump pit. That's all.
Yep. Let me keep going down this list. Aerosol can. Oh, okay.
Natalie had a question. Natalie, do you still have your question? Where'd you go? Natalie McKenney, did you have a question? Jeanette, do you have a question? You want
Yes,
to unmute?
I do. I have a comment and a question. I have lost all my confidence that I had. I thought I knew a lot about recycling, and I faithfully do recycle. But for example, I never knew that you had to crush. Can you hear me? I never knew that
I can hear you.
You had to crush milk cartons. I usually, because we live in a condo and the space is quite a valuable commodity, and the recycling bins. So I smashed them and put them in, and now I'm hearing that they're not recycled. You know, the milk and milk products, things like that, have to be left intact. What do they do with them then? Put them in the trash?
It's not that if you crush it, it's not that it's not going to be recycled, but everything is more efficiently sorted if it's left as it is.
Mhm.
So,
Well, you understand what I mean. We only have like 3 bins for the whole building, and you can't get that much in there if you don't crush them.
Right. So if you have like a milk carton, right, a plastic milk jug, if you crush that and it's flattened, it's actually going to act more like a 2-dimensional piece of cardboard because now it's flat. And it's going to be apt to be more sorted along the lines with cardboard rather than make it to the plastic sorter. And it does not say it's not going to end up where it should, but this is for efficient sorting through the recycling center. Things kept as they are with their shape, size, everything.
Yeah, I understand that. Okay, but I didn't know before. And I have one more little question. I never buy any eggs in those sort of styrofoam packages. Sometimes I'll go to another store just looking for the cardboard, the ones that are already recycled. So if they're already look like they're the gray recycled paper, are they still going to be recycled again?
So it's kind of like a cardboard material, right? That
Yeah,
one's
it's
fine.
like a gray
You could put
color.
that in there.
It looks like it's already been recycled a few times. But
You
I
could
wonder,
do
is that okay?
cardboard. The cardboard and the plastic ones are okay. Obviously, just not the styrofoam. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
I did see one in here I want to touch on. Someone asked about aerosol cans. Aerosol cans are not supposed to be put in your recycling bin. I do want to touch on that because they can actually be dangerous and act as a projectile, even if they're empty inside the recycling center. So no aerosol cans in the recycling bin. If you, again, there's a lot of questions in here. If you do have questions and you want an answer, you can definitely take my info and just shoot me an email and I can, I can take a little bit more time and actually go through those questions. So feel free to do that and shoot me any extra questions. Does anyone else have their hand up? I'm just looking around.
Do you just want to reiterate about the bills that you're talking about?
Yeah, well, thanks, Jill. I put a link in the chat, I think, about the two bills we're working on, SB 130, which would ban retail sales of styrofoam products, and also HB 111, which is a skip the stuff policy, which many other places, including New York City, DC, the state of New Jersey, and other places have already enacted, which restrict restaurants for just putting all that stuff that they give you willy-nilly in your takeout bags that you don't really need, like plastic utensils and condiment packets and that sort of stuff that all goes straight to the landfill because you have all that stuff at home already. And 90% of the time you are heading back to home or the office where you have reusable silverware or you have condiments in the fridge and you don't need that stuff. So as I said, the skip the stuff policy has been enacted all over the country, and restaurants save thousands of dollars by not giving out all that stuff unasked for. So if you could follow the link that goes to our website and send an email to the legislators to ask them to keep those bills moving. They're both waiting on their House floor vote right now. So the more messages to the House would be great.
And Dee is so much more of an expert on all this political stuff than I am. Any of you guys are. But what I hear is if a legislator, a state rep, or a state senator gets like 10 emails about a particular issue, I mean, that's a big deal. I mean, that's a big deal. So there are 25 people on this call. So if everybody writes and says to their senator and their rep, support these two bills, that's big.
It is. It's huge, Jill. Yeah. Oh, I have a quick question for Stacey. I put it in the chat, but I think you might have missed it.
I missed a lot.
It's okay. No, you didn't at all. But I just saw a chat like for a civic association the other day. They were saying that Evergreen has told them that they can't put their yard waste in anything other. I mean, they can put like bundles tied up, but they can't use plastic bags. They can only use paper bags, which is something I've been thinking about for a long time. And like Wilmington does that, but I was surprised that Evergreen made that up like a company policy.
So they said just paper bags, no more plastic.
Yeah. And that's not a law, which I've actually been thinking about, but
yeah. And that's mine too. And I follow them on social media. I hadn't seen anything about that, which is why I was surprised. No, I could, I'd be curious to know. I could reach out. I mean, no, it would be nice because even at the landfill, you see all these plastic bags mixed in with a lot of that material. So it would be very beneficial if we did that. I mean, you have to, I have the bin, but we got to pay for having the bin, but so I'll reach out to them and ask for sure.
Okay.
The other one I wanted to bring up, someone had a question. I answered it via email, which a lot of people don't know. They couldn't make it tonight, but they had asked me about what to do with like ripped and torn and pieces of fabric and like clothes that you wouldn't really donate. So I saw on Goodwill's website that they've partnered with a company, I can't remember the name of it, that would actually utilize clothes like that. And I called, and our like Goodwill store in Wilmington wasn't sure, but then I called their donation and recycling center in Newcastle, and they said as long as you label the bag for recycling, they will take ripped clothes, stained clothes, and like pieces of fabric. So they will take that stuff. Just make sure to label it. And she was like, yeah, sure. Just make a note on there so they know. So that was something I didn't know. But a lot of people always ask about, clothes that really aren't for donating. So that was a question I had gotten.
Stacey, thank you. That was, somebody asked me that and I forwarded it to you. So that's with polyesters and non-natural fabrics and all that. I mean, I know cotton and wool and natural fabrics, but
There's
for
also Phoenix used clothing. They'll accept
do they take
textile.
the scraps? So that's what one of the girls on my team said yes. But then it was hard to find on their website if they actually took not in good condition stuff. So
Correct.
if you know, that's great. But you verified this one.
Yeah,
too.
I emailed the owner because same thing. It was really still kind of vague online, and even her answer back still was like, I don't know if that's exactly. So I had to go back and forth with her a couple times,
Yes.
but yes,
Yeah.
textiles for recycling only can go there as well. And probably same thing. Their drop-off bins, label the bag as recycling.
Right.
Dee, I'm poking around on Evergreen's site because I was super curious about what you were saying. And I do see for their yard waste about halfway down under important notes, it says yard waste can either be placed loose in your container or in paper bags. So I don't see anything specifically saying no plastic bags, at least in my initial search, but it doesn't say plastic bags in that little blurb. So
yeah,
right.
It's implied, but that's great.
Right.
I think that's awesome. It's been something I've been thinking about for a long time, because in the last time I toured the landfill, which was with Mike, was probably like, I don't know, 15 years ago, but I saw all the plastic that was in the yard waste area. Which
I was just there this morning, and that's what I thought. Yeah.
And so that should be a statewide law as well, to be honest with you.
Right. Yeah. But yeah.
Thanks, Jen.
So anyway, trying to close. I know we're almost on time. But so right now our recycling rate in Delaware is around 35%. So that means we are diverting 35% of our waste from going into a landfill. Now, it may not seem like a high number, but we have a voluntary program here in Delaware. So that is actually a good number with a voluntary program. So there's, again, keep saying there's always work to do. There's always
Stacey,
something new to find.
That? You say it's voluntary, but for residential, it's voluntary or not? It's not the law.
So it's the law for the hauler to give you access to recycling.
And that's it? It's not like
like you're not going to get a fine if you don't recycle.
Huh. Interesting.
So the law states that trash haulers have to give you a bin and they have to provide you the service. But it is up to the resident to actually use the bin. So no one's coming around and being like, all your recycling's in your trash, I'm giving you a fine. Like New Jersey, I think, is notorious for fining, right, if you don't recycle or if it's too contaminated. But the law comes with the hauler offering you the bin and the service, but it is up to the resident to actually use that bin. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Does that apply to does that apply to businesses, Stacey?
Businesses are actually required to recycle. What's the terminology? It's like pretty much like, I don't want to say to their best effort, but like if they're same thing with a school, like what is the most of what they're going to produce in a recycling bin? Businesses, maybe they're going to get a lot of cardboard, right? So it is actually sufficient for businesses to just recycle all of their cardboard. Okay. But they are required to recycle and have that. So it's kind of, what are they most going to produce? Same thing with a school. If they're only able to recycle all of their paper, then that is actually sufficient enough under the law. We'd like it to be more, but for those businesses, that is pretty much what is most suitable in terms of, what they're producing. But that's why, like, when we work with schools, you know, trying to get them to focus on one or two things instead of everything, because then you're going to end up with a lot of contamination in there too. So if it is just paper, or a lot of schools have those, the little plastic carton, like the milk containers, if it's paper in the milk containers, and just focus on those so you can get good material that is just those two things, instead of trying to put everything into the bin and then you end up with a lot of contamination. So, you know, for some services, it's a lot of maybe bottles and cans or that kind of thing. So it's kind of whatever is works best, but they are required to recycle. Yeah. But again, yes. Who is that?
Oh, I am aware that you have two small kids, and we need to let you get to your mom duties here. Is that right?
I think I hear my husband downstairs. Maybe he just.
I want to thank you. This has been wonderful. And
I think you take the record for the most comments in the chat ever.
Always. I know. I'm blushing, but I hate to say it's pretty typical.
You are
again, like,
it's awesome. A lot of learning going on.
Again, I know I didn't answer a lot of questions. I know trying to get to everybody. But I again, if you had, like, if Dee or Jill, if you had the sign up, if you could forward my info, or tomorrow I'll send you some of the stuff you can pass along for everyone else. They could get my info if you really want.
Did you put your email in the chat somewhere? Would you do that? And I remind people that this is recorded, so we can find that on Dee's wonderful YouTube. I have to do my advertisement for April 20th, which is the next Green Drinks event with Wiley Feaster with DENRAC, is going to do a presentation on the Delaware climate plan, and I hope you all will tune in for that. That is a very exciting thing, that in these dark times, Delaware is still leading the pack and doing all sorts of good stuff. May, we have a possibility of somebody speaking on the crisis of heat. I know there's a book called The Heat Will Kill You, and I know last week I was out of town, but it was 80-some degrees. And we are hoping, this is all happening, hoping to have that in person at Mount Cuba Center. So that's kind of exciting. And then in June, we will have Paul Moser, is that how you say his name? Del Dot, who is a biking advocate. Nick, we're having him special for you. So, so watch your emails for Green Drinks on those things. Did I forget to say anything? Call email your representatives and senators about the two bills that Dee was talking about. What did I forget?
And sign up for the Murph tour if you're interested.
Sign up for the Murph tour. And I'm sure you all have No Kings. Sorry, this is nonpartisan. The No Kings Day on the 28th of March. Got it, John Irwin. Okay. Any other I should ask, any other announcements that people want to make about events that they're having in their world? Stand up again, John. I see that.
I will put out a plug. I've been working with Dee and Elisa for the really, really free markets. We have two set up, both in April. It's the same weekend, 11 and 12. One is over at the Bellevue Community Center, and on Saturday, the 11th, and then on the 12th, it'll be in Brandywine Park over by Brandywine Zoo. That's where I work. So we'll be helping organize that. Kind of like a yard sale without the sale is essentially the free market. Bring your stuff, other people take it. Whatever they don't take, you just take back home.
I just put
you can go
flyer in there.
There
it
is.
Yep.
Perfect. And on the zoo website, Plastic Free Delaware website, scan the QR code, register. you know, your vehicle or just a spot with a table or whatever it may be.
And we're looking to get them set up, or whoever's interested all around the state. They're just, you know, one more way to give goods a new life and keep them out of the landfill. I think we lost Stacey, so
Okay. Fabulous, wonderful.